Earlier this week, a petition calling for an independence referendum in Indonesia's West Papua province was delivered to the United Nations. The petition was signed by 1.8 million people and handed to the UN's Human Rights Chief, Michelle Bachelet. Well, Benny Wenda is the chairman of the United Liberation Movement for West Papua. He says he hopes the UN will send a fact-finding mission to the province to substantiate allegations of human rights violations. And he joins me now from Oxford. Now, Benny, you've been fighting for this for more than 50 years. How significant are the latest developments?
This fight is fighting for justice and freedom and people of West Papua for 50 years. And now we are making progress from the regionally to the international fora, led by Vanuatu government and other Pacific leaders. So I'm gaining confidence.
Well, the petition that was delivered to the UN, what was Michelle Bachelet's response?
I think the petition is what happened in 1969 we refuse, and the collective voice, the people of West Papua, 1.8 million refuse Indonesia illegal occupation. Now we present it to the United Nations, to the United Nations High Commission in Geneva, calling for the new referendum. And that's up to the UN to decide, because what happened in 1969, UN involved, big power involved, a victim, and our right to self-determination. So now time for the United Nations and big power to review it and give the West Papua another chance to choose their own destiny. That's what this petition about.
Well, as you've mentioned, you've presented a similar petition before. What is different this time around? What role did Vanuatu play in this?
The Vanuatu government facilitated to handling these petitions. And we did, the 2017, we did independently, submit to the chairman of the C24 already, and that's independent. But this time, officially support by Vanuatu government, we handled it.
And how hopeful are you of achieving the change that you're petitioning for?
I think this is the great achievement, because 50 years we are crying for justice and freedom. We cry for the help. No one hear our cry for justice. No one hear our cry for freedom. In fact, that through the petition, now the world can see why this petition about. This petition, people are already fought for the referendum. So we hope that United Nations, Indonesian government, and big power to organize, let the people of West Papua to hold a referendum.
And what's important is that if it happens, it can be done in peace. But there are allegations of violence reported from both sides of the divide. What's your response to that?
This allegation and this fighting is a root problem is what happened in 1969. Indonesia illegally occupied 1963, and that is a bloodshed at the beginning. 500,000 and more men and children has been killed. That's why my job, my obligation, United Liberation Movement obligation to end the violence through the international mechanism. That's why this petition we are delivered to end the violence.
And what are your thoughts on the position of the PNG government and all of this?
I know the PNG government very difficult position because of border issue. But now my message to the people of Papua New Guinea and the Papua New Guinea government to review your foreign policy and reclaim your ancestral land from Sorong to Samarai. We are one culture, one Tumbuna, one ancestor. There's nothing to fear. We are the colonial power, a colonial border put just 60 years. Before that, we are free people. So that is why I'm calling for my brother, sister in Papua New Guinea. You will reclaim your ancestral land now from Sorong to Samarai.
Do you think you'll see this change happen in your lifetime?
It will change, because human making history, I'm making history, and it's our lifetime, because my brothers and sisters across the Pacific government are behind the campaign, particularly Melanesia, Micronesia, Polynesia, and whether in Maori or Australia, they are behind the campaign. I'm confident that we achieved our independence. Indonesia cannot hide anymore the issue now in United Nations level. It's not domestic issue, but this is now international issue, regional issue. And I know that New Zealand and Australia government look at their foreign policy, but I'm calling now to review it. Look at this is there's humanitarian ground. People of West Papua are great danger. Indonesia committed genocide. I hope that need to review and to look at the West Papua and resolve an international mechanism. That's what we are calling now.
And what are the human rights abuses that you allege the Indonesian armed forces are committing?
Since as I said, since Indonesia occupied 1960 until today, we don't have any freedom to speak so. That's why Indonesia get away with impunity. West Papua become a militarized zone in the Asia Pacific. West Papua become a war zone. This is why they are calling to review what happening in West Papua, whole thing.
And Benny, what are the next steps for you in the coming weeks and even months?
We hope that through the petitions, we optimistic because Vanuatu, small country, but a big heart. And this is like fighting David with the Goliath. But I know the people of Vanuatu and across the Pacific are behind it. And we need to push this issue from the regional forum to the international fora to look at the situation in West Papua. And my people now hiding in the bush, women and children, no food, no water, the cold. Some of the children are born in the, in the bush. So this is the humanitarian crisis for what's happening in West Papua. Particularly.
Thank you. We'll be watching very closely the developments out of there. We appreciate your time tonight on The World.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, international support.